What's going on, Flames Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Sea of Red Football Podcast. Going to be a little bit different this week, but what's not different is who I'm joined with, and that is the GOAT, John Manson. John, how are we living this Tuesday night?
We're doing good, Richie. Hope you're doing well. Excited for the show. We got a star-studded cast of characters joining us tonight.
Absolutely. I saw some online tweets last week. There, we had a special guest, Pat Kelly. I think that's a special guest. People were like, "That's not a special guest." All right, fine. You don't like the special guest in Pat Kelly? Well, you clearly weren't on the mountain in 2010. So we're going big. We're going Coach Chadwell. We're going AD Ian McCaw. And if you got a problem with that, if that's not big enough for you, I don't know who you would want us to have on the show. But it is what it is. I digress. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on in the world of not just Liberty football, but college football in general. The term Wild Wild West is thrown around a lot, and whether you agree with the way that the transfer portal is, whether or not you agree with NIL in its current state, it is what it is. That is the scenario that we're dealing with, and we're in the middle of it right now. It's kind of slowly kick things off, but I would venture to say that I think we found a little bit of a groove today.
Yeah, Liberty's brought in a couple of portal commitments, and I'm sure we'll get some more as the week continues to go. I mean, portal just officially opened last Monday, so the coaching staff hit the ground running, brought a bunch of guys in. So we'll talk about that a lot more in detail, as well as get into the Bahamas Bowl preview. And we've got, right after we get AD and McCaw, and then right after him is Coach Chadwell. So should be fun. Stay tuned. We'll dive into the Buffalo game, the portal, and all of that after these interviews. You ready?
I'm a lot of moving parts. Let's bring in the man that has been driving this ship, steering it in the correct direction, away from any and all icebergs. AD, we should get an intro video for him for next year.
Yeah, we definitely do need to do a special video intro for AD Ian McCaw. We'll go ahead and bring him in now, though.
All right. Hey, John. Hey, Richie.
Hey, Ian. How are you doing?
Doing well. Live from Liberty Arena here at the Flames have got things under control against St. Andrews. So it's a good night.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that there might be a record being broken tonight, most points scored in a game.
Yeah, we were over 100 with 10 minutes to go. So, there's some points being piled up. Taylor and Peter, I think, at 30 at last check. So, the Flames are rolling.
Yeah, it's been an exciting start, I think, looking at the winter sports coming up. But we got fall sports in our review. Give us your thoughts, not just football, but on the whole. What are some exciting takeaways that we have coming from that season?
Yeah, from the fall, couple championships, both men's and women's cross country won Conference USA titles in really impressive fashion. Women's soccer won a regular season CUSA title as well. And,
they were robbed, Ian. They were robbed.
Yep, they were. And now, obviously, we know we're in the Bahamas Bowl, and looking forward to finishing up with a win here to start off 2025 in football.
So, we haven't gotten a chance to chat with you really since the season really kicked off. I think we talked early in the year, but take us back through, just kind of your overall thoughts of the 2024 football season. Then we'll get into the bowl game and bowl prep. But coming off that 2023 record year, banner year for the Flames, 13-1, first year under Coach Chadwell, Conference USA championship, made it all the way to the Fiesta Bowl. Expectations were sky high, higher than we've ever had at Liberty. What are your overall thoughts of just, how the team performed? Obviously, it was really a weird year. We talked about it a lot during the podcast throughout the season, just with games being canceled, against Appalachian State. You had the schedule just got messed up from the get-go, and the team ultimately finished 8-3 and now, as you mentioned, are headed to the Bahamas Bowl.
Yeah, John, I thought we had a really good, start to the season, and we're finding our way. And I think when we got into October, and between the App State game and the midweek games, we had some real unevenness in the schedule. We had long layoffs, and I think that was a little bit disruptive to the team. We didn't play our best through some of those games in later October. Obviously, Kennesaw being one. We actually, I thought, played pretty well against Jacksonville State. Just couldn't put that one away. Anyway, I thought played better in November. Weren't quite at 100% when we played Sam Houston. I think that was a game in hindsight. If Caden Salter's healthy, I think we have a pretty good chance to win that game and put ourselves into the Conference USA Championship for the second straight year. So again, some things didn't work out, some injuries. We don't sit around making a lot of excuses, but this was a year where we didn't quite reach some of the goals that we had for us, but at the same time, there are a lot of teams out there that would love to be 8-3 and go into a bowl game.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the expectations at the beginning of the year, whether or not they were too high or just right, is a debate for a whole other time. And we could talk about that for ages. But like you said, 8 wins. That's awesome. Many teams would love to have 8 wins right now. Going to a 6th consecutive bowl game, that's unheard of for a new to the FBS world type team. So Bahamas Bowl, what does the bowl selection piece look like from your end and in your seat? Is it kind of like a carousel? Are you kind of, like trying to find a date to the dance? You don't put all your eggs in one basket, but talking, not that going to dances is Liberty Way approved. I don't know what the rules are, but what does that look like from your seat?
Yeah, we knew the champion was going to the Cure Bowl, and they told us that in advance. And then we knew the other teams kind of descending order, probably looking at New Orleans, Boca, and Bahamas. And again, as the way things played out, we finished 4th, and we ended up in the Bahamas Bowl. Couldn't be a better destination. I mean, it's an absolutely spectacular trip. The weather, the destination, the hotel property. It's going to be a really special trip for our team. I think our players are really excited. Our coaches are excited. The coaches' wives may be even more excited. But anyway, should be really good. We play a really good Buffalo team that was much improved, 8-4, and it'll be a fun game, as you mentioned. 6 straight bowl games. Very few programs have done that since making the FBS transition. So we're really in a unique territory as far as that goes, and we'll get a glimpse at some players who are going to play really key roles for the 2025 team, kind of thrust into a more significant role in this game, largely because of some opt-outs and some portal entries. So it should be a great game. We're really looking forward to it, and we're eager to get down to the Bahamas.
The Bahamas Bowl is kind of a unique bowl, right? I mean, I think it's the only one that's played on foreign soil, being played down in the Bahamas. It definitely, like you mentioned, it's definitely a destination game, and but it's hard to get there for a lot of fans, right? I mean, if you don't have a passport and that sort of thing, it's hard to get there and expensive to get there as well too. Talk to us about like the team, the administration, like what went into, like, did everybody already have a passport? Were people having to rush and get passports? Like, what is that whole process being of just trying to get game ops and the team and the roster, the coaching staff, admin, everybody that goes into being on a football team and putting on a game day, even in a neutral site venue?
Yeah, John, great question. And, we knew that was one of the Conference USA Bowl tie-ins. So we actually made arrangements to have all of our team and staff get passports before the season, thankfully, because otherwise we would be scrambling right now. So that worked out really well. Obviously, when you have an international trip, you're dealing with customs, and that adds a layer. Transportation's a little tricky. The largest bus on the Bahamas seats 29 people. That's not our norm when we travel. And then again, as we talked about, with portal and opt-outs, our roster will be well under 100, and normally during the season we carry about 117. So, a lot of variables, but we sent an advanced team down last week, and they checked out the hotel property, which is spectacular, and just worked through the logistics. And again, we're really excited about this trip, and it'll be, once in a lifetime experience for most of our student athletes.
Yeah, I'm sure, Ian, they were crushed to go down to Atlantis.
I'm just glad they came
middle
back.
Of December.
Yeah.
Good for them. I got to keep that in mind. So into the future, 2025 schedule's already set. 26, 27, still moving parts. What kind of little teasers can you give us?
Yeah, we'll give you a little breaking news. I think, why not? You guys are on the front lines doing it all. So yeah, we know the schedule next year. The 4 non-conference games: Maine, Bowling Green, JMU, and ODU. So that's set. We actually have 26 and 27 set as well. So in 26, I think you'll see games with JMU, Gardner-Webb, Ball State, and Coastal. And then in 27, you'll see Virginia Tech, Delaware State, Coastal, and UConn. I think would be the four games there. So that's got the next 3 years lined up. We're supposed to get a Conference USA 2025 schedule any day. So hopefully that'll be at least before the new year, and we'll have a good feel for what the full 2025 schedule looks like. With new teams in the conference, obviously we'll be skipping some teams. So that'll be really, we're really anxious to see what that schedule is going to look like.
Well, look at Ian breaking news for us on a Tuesday night on the podcast here from Liberty Arena. We appreciate that. You mentioned the conference schedule. I know you're waiting on that. Has there been talk about going to 2 different divisions or anything? I think that a lot of other conferences kind of gone away from divisions for football, but Sunbelt still has it, and it would make sense from a Conference USA perspective, from a travel perspective, because obviously you got 12 teams next year, right? With Missouri State and also Delaware joining. Has there been conversation, or maybe that's something that won't be decided until later?
Yeah, we've not spent a lot of time as ADs talking about that. It does make sense when you're 12 to go, east-west, or some type of alignment where there's divisional play, but we're not there yet. Obviously, then we have the following season with UTEP moving on, so we'd be back to 11 at this point in time. So yeah, we'll see if that ends up gaining traction or not. But as of right now, it's just a 12-team league.
Ian, last question from me. I'm sure John has at least 1 or 2 more, but NIL has been the term people have been throwing around for the last 2 or 3 years now in college football. But what I don't think a lot of people have realized, and it's starting to gain traction now, and that is revenue share. From the AD's perspective, what does that look like nationally? What does that even mean, and what can that look like at Liberty?
Yeah, Richie, so with the House settlement, the judge has given preliminary approval to that, and a lot of elements of that. One is that they're back down to former student athletes to the tune of $2.8 billion. And I know the Sea of Red could probably stroke a check and cover that, but that's a big number. And so every school is going to have to dig deep to find those resources for the back damages component. And then moving forward, all of the P4 conferences have to opt into this, and it allows them to revenue share up to $20.5 million per year with a 4% escalator. So group of 5 schools may opt in, but they won't be providing that type of internal NIL or revenue sharing. So we've spent a lot of time building models and working with our leadership. We feel like we have a really good plan. There's nothing to opt into yet. The settlement doesn't get approved until April. But if it does, and when it does, we're certainly ready. We feel like we have a really good plan that'll position our programs for success.
Ian, we appreciate your time, taking time out of your schedule, busy schedule, I know. Last question for you. We'll let you get out of here. You're there at Liberty Arena. Liberty basketball just moved to 11-1 on the season. One more game, non-conference game on Saturday against UT Arlington. Everyone listening, if you're in close driving distance coming out, it should be a good game. Probably the best non-conference game at home Liberty's had this season. So coming out to that. And then conference play starts right after the new year. Your initial thought and assessment on this basketball team and the roster Coach McKay has assembled so far for this team. Brought in 4 transfers to go along with some returners that he had back from last year.
Yeah, I thought Coach McKay and staff did an incredible job at the end of last season. With both the junior college signing in Aquino and the portal additions as well. We are a much improved basketball team, really a joy to watch, just a very unselfish team, great chemistry, great culture. Coach McKay's an incredible leader. So I think this is going to be a really enjoyable winter in Liberty Arena and looking forward to it. And again, we talked a little bit about football, but I think Coach Chadwell and his staff have done a great job managing the portal environment as well. It is a challenging time in college athletics. A lot of transition, and I think our coaches have done a fantastic job in setting us up for a bright future.
Yeah, Ian, thank you so much for coming on, providing us an insight into what's going on, not just currently, but what we can look forward to as we continue to support Liberty Athletics into 2025 and beyond. Looking forward to watching this basketball season. Is the game's final, right?
Yeah, so it did go final. I think I saw someone here 124-50, I think is the final score. So yeah, good game, good win for the Flames tonight.
Yeah, but thank you again, Ian, on behalf of John and myself. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thanks, Richie. Thanks, John.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Ian. Appreciate you. And we'll get to Richie's favorite promo here before we get Coach Chadwell coming in.
It's real Florida. It's old Florida, and it's close to all of the Central Florida attractions. Crystal clear natural springs in one of the largest chain of lakes. The beautiful lakefront city of Leesburg offers the best in outdoor adventures, fishing, and quaint shops and restaurants on historic downtown Main Street. Come visit and see how welcoming a hometown city feels. Experience Leesburg the way Florida is meant to be.
Welcome on one of my all-time favorite guests, man who needs very little introduction, and that is Liberty head coach Jamie Chadwell. Coach Chadwell, how are we doing this Tuesday night?
Doing pretty well. How are y'all?
Phenomenal.
We're doing good, Coach. How are you doing? Good to have you join us tonight. Right in the middle of a busy month for you guys. Give us an update on how things are going. Obviously, the portal, you got guys going in, guys coming out, making lots of visits, and all the meanwhile trying to prepare a team for what you got left for a bowl game coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic. I was actually just got through with the meeting.
I think we lost him.
It was definitely going to be something about a quarterback, something about Trent. What's it, Henderson? What's his last name?
Trent Hudson.
Trent Hudson. Henderson's the other guy.
Yeah, Trent Hudson. We got him. Jalen Henderson is the quarterback from Texas A&M, but Trent Hudson did commit. And I don't know what the rules are for portal guys, but I know until they sign something official, Coach Chadwell probably can't talk about them. Let's see if we got him back now. We got you now, Coach. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I'm actually on my phone because I was in a meeting with a young man, and obviously I had to leave it because this getting on this podcast is way more important than trying to get a quarterback. So, That was a coach. But young people here right now, young men right here, and then we're obviously practicing. We're practicing 4 days a week, and so we've had 6 practices up to this point since the end of the season. 8 practices, and so we'll have a total of 10 before we break for Christmas, and trying committed to filling in the positions that we need to bring people in with. I don't know if I can talk about it or not, so I'm not going to talk about it. We'll get in trouble. But we've got some positions to fill. And so, we've had some really good players on campus that are high on the Flames, and we're working hard to bring the right guys into our program to help us get back to championship level.
Well, if you have a quarterback call you during this call, please hang up, take the call. We'll catch up later.
Sounds good. I wish I'd have known that about 2 minutes.
Yeah. So, Coach, you talked about bringing in the right players. What's your pitch to some of these players? I know when if you look at the newest NCAA college football game, there are a bunch of attributes for a school, whether it's pro potential, TV exposure, facilities. What's your pitch to these guys to get these players to come in and sell Liberty over the other schools?
Well, I think one, if you're in the portal, you're looking for a better opportunity, right? Obviously, playing time, those things. So if we're bringing you in, there's a good reason for that. There's not a great opportunity to play. I think 2, guys want to have a chance to win and win at a high level, which we've shown we can do that and have the chance to compete for championships every year. Which, you won one, and you're a couple plays away from being another one, having a chance to win one. Things you guys know we have. For developing a whole person, a lot of come somewhere and develop spiritually, develop academically, have a chance to finish their football career the right way. And maybe it's not worked out at some other places, or maybe they're looking just for more opportunities to really grow from that. Is a big part of what we're selling, and that young people are excited about, knowing that they're going to be in an environment like we have here.
Well, Coach, kind of taking time to look back at 2024 and the season that you had. Obviously, you got the bowl game still to play, and you guys are trying to get to that 9th win, like you've talked about a lot, including this morning in your press conference. But, you said it before. You win 13 games year one, make it to the Fiesta Bowl. Expectations, skyrocket, and nothing that could be done this year other than a letdown unless you went perfect, and that's just unreasonable, unrealistic, I guess. Really, as you've had a chance to kind of decompress and digest what happened in 2024, what would you say to the Liberty fans listening and watching this as to what's your main takeaways from this past season?
Well, I would say our expectations here are higher than anybody on the outside. I would say that we expect to win every game. I mean, that's our expectations, and put ourselves in position to be in a college football playoff is what we're doing. I would say our expectations are high. We want the best every time. And I looking back, there's a lot of good things we did. And to be able to win 8 was great. I felt like we should have won more, 100%. There's the things as the head coach that got better to win the 3 games. We lost 3 games. All 3 games we had a chance to win the game in the 4th quarter and could not get it done. And so you look back on that, and as the head coach, why? Was it play calling? Was it mismanagement? Was it whatever? What was it? And so those are things that you work on. And then on the other hand, there was 4 games that we should have lost. So instead of 8-3, truth be told, we could probably be 4-7. And so I look at it from a standpoint. I'm very good that our culture was strong enough to win 8, but we weren't strong enough from a leadership position, and accountability position to win the 11 that I thought we were capable of winning. And so our whole focus, as I'm looking back on it, is that there's a disappointment that we didn't where we could win those games that were important to us and play for a championship again. But I know what we need to do, and I know the people we need to bring in, and I know the areas where we weren't as good. And we've already started working on that right now with this current team that we have. That's going to be the core going forward. That we're not allowing what happened last year to seep in ever again. and it's not going to do that. We're going to be accountable to each other and care about each other. And so we've already started working on that. Guys that are here, they're excited about that, and they know that what caused us from having a chance to really maximize the potential we had this year. And so we're working hard on that right now to make sure that doesn't happen. Guys bring in adding to it, and there's a disappointment there from myself that I couldn't get that out of us, and there's things that we can definitely improve. I look and say as challenging it as was, we were 15 points, 3 plays away, maybe an offsides here, maybe a catch here, maybe a throw here of playing for another championship. And so you look back and say, all right, can we get those things fixed? We went through numerous injuries this year that a lot of people really don't know about. John, you do, because you're on the inside, that where 2 years ago we hardly had none, and we went through all that and still had a chance to do that. So I'm excited about the guys that didn't play and them coming back and getting healthy, that we got a really good nucleus to go forward if we can add to it. So looking for big things, but I would share with Flames Nation, our expectations are always high, and that we're working our tail off to make sure we get back to where we think we could be.
Coach, you got me fired up just hearing that. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. If you need someone to throw the pads on in the Bahamas, kick return, kick off, you let me know. I'm out there. But going into the Bahamas, what does the schedule look like? He broke up, but I'm going to sounded like you said, I'm in whenever you need a guy. Tell me about the schedule leading up to the Bahamas Bowl. You said breaking for Christmas. What's the travel schedule look like, practice schedule moving forward?
So we've got a couple more practices this week, then we do break for Christmas. We get back the 27th, and then we start our prep, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. And we'll practice those days heavy into Buffalo, our opponent. And then we leave the 1st, get out there for that day, and then the next 2 days you have practice / your run-throughs, walk-throughs leading up to the game. You're there 3 days, really, 3 nights, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and you got 2 days really to get that practice. Your Wednesday, there's no practice. That's your travel day. And so we'll most have the hay in the barn, so to speak, prior to going out there. And then hopefully as you're there, get acclimated to warmer weather for a few days. And then sharpen everything and make sure we're ready to play our best Saturday at 11 o'clock.
Coach, have you ever been to the Bahamas? You ever been to Atlantis? Or are you a guy that's going to get down and go down those water slides with your kids? I'm sure it's a trip your wife, your kids are probably looking forward to. You ever been down there?
I've been one time. I had a former player of mine that was actually a server, not a waiter, a concierge at one of the Sandals resorts there. And he graciously let it came and visit him. So we went there, but never been to Atlantis. You'll see me going down the slide. I'll be down the slide. I might be snorkeling. I'll be doing a lot. I want to enjoy, the day at least one of the days that we're there and enjoy the water. I like those things. I think you got to enjoy the trip. Part of earning a bowl trip is to enjoy where you get to go. And I don't know if there's many better places than Atlantis. I mean, it's a great place. And so, and they'll get to see my shirt off and my white skin there and no tan. So it'll probably scare a lot of people, but it'll be fun at the same time.
You're telling me you're not going to get a quick spray tan?
Well, I might hit the tan bed before I go. You never know.
There you go. I'm sure Liberty's got a tanning bed, I'm sure, somewhere on campus. So last question for me, Coach Chadwell. Thank you for taking the time. Buffalo, we played them last year. So what's that kind of like? How much are you looking at? Are they a new team? How much is going to be similar? How much is going to be different in that game prep?
Completely different. Obviously, new staff, some new players, but better motivation. They're extremely motivated. They're not the same team, and they play with a lot of confidence. Winning 8 games, they're excited about it going. But they got no opt-outs. They got nobody in the portal. So they're sold out. They're sold out, obviously, for being here and coming off the year that they had previously. So it's that a lot of players there prior to, obviously they brought some new ones in, but new schemes and really just playing together. You can see they're tough, they're physical. So nothing from the previous game will be used. and it'll be a big challenge. It'll be a big challenge, but one that we're excited about. You know, we know we're who we're going with, and I'm excited about those guys because they got the expectation doesn't change, the standard doesn't change. I don't care how many we show up with. I don't care who we show up with. Our expectation is to go play well, and I'm excited about this group that we'll play hard, we'll play together, we'll fight for each other, and we'll do that for 4 quarters, and that's the standard that we expect. And that'll be the standard going forward. And as I said, as the head coach, maybe we didn't do that this past year consistently, and that's on me, and that's not going to ever happen again.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us as always, and you're always welcome to join us anytime you want to, but we'll let you get back to it, close the deal with a couple of these other portal kids, and let's get across the finish line with those guys. But appreciate your time. Look forward to supporting the guys down in the Bahamas.
Hey, we appreciate the nation, and go Flames, and whatever they say, however they say goodbye in Bahamas, whatever that is.
See you, Coach.
Virginia's
You know what
best
that
and
is,
most flames-friendly coffee comes from Ironclad Coffee Roasters. Ironclad Roasters serves up their beautiful beans at 2 cafes in Richmond, where you can enjoy their craft roasted specialty beans from anywhere in the country by visiting www.ironcladcoffee.com. Place your order there, and it will be directly shipped to your doorstep. Whenever you find yourself in the capital of the Commonwealth, pay them a visit at one of their 2 cafes in the Richmond area. Ironclad's owners, the O'Rourke family, are proud Flames Club members and season ticket holders, and now they're pleased to sponsor the podcast from CRA. Hop over to www.ironcladcoffee.com now to get your Virginia's best specialty coffee headed your way.
I think they just say goodbye.
I don't know. I think Coach was trying to catch what they say in the Bahamas. Unfortunately, He had a little bit of connectivity issues, but I think you could get the general gist of his message, especially once we got into it a little bit deeper. He came across pretty good, but appreciate Coach obviously coming on and taking time. December's crazy. I couldn't imagine being a head coach right now. You got to try to recruit your current team, talk them out of the portal, make decisions on guys that go into the portal on if you want to try to continue to keep them. Guys that say, hey, I want to come back because maybe they didn't get what they wanted. You got to make a decision. Do you want to bring them back? All the meanwhile, you just had your own signing day for your high school class. You're also looking at portal guys, and they've brought in probably a dozen or more, probably over a dozen now, kids on a visit over the past week. And you still got a plan for a bowl. Not to mention, last time we talked, Richie, that, everybody was saying he was going to UCF. So he's probably not sleeping at all right now. So definitely appreciate Coach Chadwell taking 15, 20 minutes out of his time to chat with us knuckleheads. Yeah.
And you mentioned high school recruits. We had Ethan Houck in the comments just now, 3-4 star. There he is. 3-4
He's
star.
the highest rated. I don't know if Ethan's still watching, but he is the highest rated quarterback Liberty has ever signed out of high school. Previous one is currently on the team, a true freshman, Jaden Bradford, which we heard earlier today. Bradford, he will go to the Bahamas Bowl and will be available, but he's going to unfortunately need some surgery and miss a good chunk of time. Maybe he'll be back for spring ball, probably not. But yeah, I mean, you can tell Coach Chadwell has made a good impression on some of these recruits he's been able to bring in.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of good things at Liberty to sell to these players coming in, regardless of their age.
Yeah, and how about Ian coming in and telling us what I got to go write some articles based on what Ian just told us on what the schedules are for 2026 and 2027.
He's like, I'm over this basketball game. I'm breaking news.
I mean, we're 34 minutes into this podcast, and I'm ready to call it a night. That was a great show.
Exactly. Buffalo. Good luck. I don't know what you want to say.
Yeah.
But about the ball game. Obviously, short some players. Alluded to some injuries. Berger in the concussion protocol. Nate Hampton in the portal, but available to play. But Chadwell alluded to it. They got guys that want to be here. They want to play this game. They're excited to play this game, and whether you need 11 guys. And it sounds like they got a little more than 11, but not the 100 that we're used to.
Yeah, we got about 2 weeks to kind of break down this game, and I'll start to get into it really starting tomorrow on the website at seared.com. So be sure to check that out. But, it's really an interesting, we're not going to have another podcast prior to this, so we'll go ahead and do our breakdown of the game and the bowl trip and all of that now. But it's really interesting because it's two teams that had two different seasons. Like, yeah, they both won eight games, but Buffalo's under first-year head coach. They felt like they overachieved by winning 8 games. They finished 3rd place in the MAC, and they're happy. They're excited, ecstatic to be in a bowl game. They weren't in a bowl game last year. Obviously Liberty drubbed them last year back in, I think that was week 3 or week 4.
I thought that was the game I caught heat because I'm like, I don't think Liberty's going to win this game. And we just shellacked them.
We just shellacked them. And that was kind of the first game that it was like, okay, maybe we got something special here. And certainly we did. But, that was also the game Vaughn Blue got hurt and missed most of the rest of the season. But anyways, it's going to be an interesting game because you think Buffalo wants to be there, wants to be in the bowl game. And Liberty, I went over to practice this morning for 15, 20 minutes that they had it open and to the media. And I literally counted how many players were on the field because it felt like half of what was normally there for other practices I've been to. And I was asking, so there was 117 players on the roster at the start of the season. And that by the time you had to the Sam Houston game, it was down to 114. Now, some practices, some of those guys, they're injured and they're not there or whatever. But I walked into the indoor practice facility this morning and it was like, is this everybody? Like, there's nobody here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go count. There were 72 players going through drills and practicing this morning. So that goes to show you, you've had over 40 players that have either opted out or are in the portal or injured, whatever the case may be. So you got it's a Coach Chadwell said in his press conference this morning, this team is a shell of itself. The quarterback situation is really going to be interesting. I expect Berger to play. I didn't know this until today, but apparently he suffered a concussion in that Sam Houston game. Maybe that's why Caden came back. I don't know, but he suffered a concussion there, and he was at practice this morning, but he wasn't. He's just doing individual work. He wasn't doing any of the team drills, and that's how it's been. Coach Chadwell said, and others have said. Since the end of the season. So those, what did he say? There's been 8 practices. Mm-hmm. It's been all Nate Hampton getting QB1 reps. So, I would assume you're 2.5 weeks post Sam Houston. I would assume Berger should be getting cleared here soon. And, I think he'll be good to go, but it's definitely an interesting dynamic, everything involved for Liberty.
Yeah, and it is, we're not the only team that's going through this right now, and there's a lot you could say about it. Probably a lot of negatives, the way that the whole landscape has affected bowl games like this, but I would say it's another opportunity for us to watch Liberty football. It's a bowl game, something that we are that we were excited about 7-8 years ago when this transition was announced. So I'll always enjoy it. My wife was like, we're going to so-and-so's kid's first birthday party on the Saturday after New Year's. I went, I'm not. I'm like, what time? I was like, 3 o'clock. I'm there. She goes, 11 a.m. And I just went, I'm not going to the birthday party.
I got a bowl game to watch, but
yeah, I go.
Richie, I've been fortunate. I think I've said this before, but I've been fortunate enough to go to every single bowl game for Liberty. It's been 5 games, and when the announcement came out for this one, I told you and others, like, well, I think the streak's coming to an end right here. And, I still did everything I could in my power to look and try to find a way down there. And plane tickets were outrageous, and there was hard to get a direct flight. And unless you drove to Miami, which if you drive all the way there, that takes a whole day and a half. And then it was, it was just too much. I don't have a passport, so that's another issue. But my last resort, and I already shared this with you, so I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. I was like, let me check. Nassau is a big cruise port. Let me check see what ships are coming into Nassau on Saturday, January 4th. And there's like 6 of them. So I started going through the list of like, which of these ships would I, 1, want to be on? 2, do they have any capacity? And 3, can I get on it? Can I afford it? And all that sort of stuff. And started going through it. And long story short, I'm going on the Liberty of the Seas
naturally
to watch a Liberty in the bowl game. So I can keep my streak of bowl games attended, unless we have some type of issue on the cruise ship, or I get stranded in the Bahamas and I can't get home. That might happen. But hey,
you're stranded in the Bahamas.
I know.
You poor soul.
So, but anyways, I should be able to get to my six bowl game. We got some questions here about Bradford. So again, Bradford was a 4th-string quarterback this past year, right? Because, obviously you had K-Salt, you had Berger, and then Hampton was 3. So Bradford was QB4, true freshman, obviously highly rated out of IMG Academy. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't pay much attention to him during the season. Like, I don't know when he got hurt. I don't know what he hurt. I don't know when it was. Apparently it wasn't too serious because he hasn't had surgery yet. I don't know when it was. It could have been back in September. I have no idea. So I really don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know what type of surgery he needs either. I'm sure I'll find that out eventually, but as of right now, I don't know. But it is, Coach Chadwell said he's got to have some type of surgery, but he's pushing it off until after the bowl game. So he'll be our QB3 emergency quarterback if we need him. And maybe they have a package for him. I don't know. But he's not expected to play, but he could. And then he'll have surgery and he'll probably miss 3 or 4 months in recovery time. But to be honest, I do not know when he got hurt or what type of injury he suffered.
Yeah, before everyone starts panicking, like, oh, why is this top recruit? Why was he QB4 this year? I think the plan this whole time was for him to redshirt because he, 18 years old to have. You got a Caden Salter ahead of you, Jake Berger, a lot of older guys with some experience playing. So I do want to kind of say that was part of him this year.
Yeah, 100%. Unless he came in and absolutely lit it up and was hands down QB2 behind Salter, there was no reason for him to be anything other than the scout team quarterback and to redshirt. I mean, it just makes no sense. So, but we can kind of segue that into portal talk is like, Coach, I wasn't 100% sure when the regular season and then the portal was getting ready to open. I didn't know if Liberty was going to go after a quarterback or not, but Coach Chadwell was very clear and said, yes, we're going after a quarterback. We're going after a quarterback with playing experience, and we might go and get 2 of them. So they've already brought 4, which we put the article out and had it out previously, but they've already had 4 quarterbacks on campus, and all 4 of them have had significant playing experience. And I know at least 2, maybe all 4 of them would be the favorite to be the starter for next year over Berger and Bradford. So it just goes to show that this coaching staff's not playing around and they're, swinging for the fences. We don't know. Nobody's committed yet. Coach Chadwell was saying he had a call from a quarterback, so it's probably one of those 4, and he's trying to close the deal. So we'll have to see what happens there.
High drama and who it could be, but gotten some commitments already. I know I just mentioned Trent, who lit up at Conference USA before, balled out on our turf when he was playing at New Mexico State, transferred to Mississippi State for a year. Didn't work out, and we got the opportunity for him to come to Lynchburg. I saw an offensive lineman.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 offensive linemen
and
a running back from Georgia Tech. That was actually the running back there. He was committed to Liberty committed to Coastal Carolina under the current Liberty coaching staff previously, and then he flipped to Georgia Tech before signing day. And he's been in Atlanta the last couple of years and hasn't played a lot. Played a little bit in 2023, but now he'll transfer here and he'll be right in the mix of playing time. 2 offensive linemen that I think will have a chance to play this year. We need some help there, especially at tackle. And then, I think Hudson, 6'3", we saw what he did, at New Mexico State. He was an All-American before that at the JUCO level. So we definitely need some help at receiver. We really only lose Trayon Sibley. I know Fortenberry and Austin are both in the portal, but they really didn't play. I don't think they even had a catch all season. So, we need some help there, but that's one guy there. I know we're going after a couple of others that are high on our board that we're hoping to get, but Hudson, he's been able to do it at G5 level, and it didn't work out in the SEC at the P4 level. So, he's going to give it another whirl here at the G5 level again next season. And we've seen what he's done in Conference USA. So, hopefully he can do it again for us next year.
Yeah, it's a giant game of musical chairs, and you don't know who is playing the game. You don't know who could end up sitting in a chair, anything like that. So I enjoy a bit of the chaos of who's coming in, all this stuff. You could take that one, John.
No, we did not sign a center. Aaron Fenimore is going to be our center. He's a redshirt freshman this year. As long as he stays in the program, he'll be our starting center. So we did not sign one. We signed, we technically haven't signed anybody, but committed. We got 2 tackles that have committed. That'll be in the mix there. But yeah, Richie, it's really interesting. Like I heard a coach, I don't remember which one it was, talk about how you basically every year you have a new team. You're recruiting your current team and you're replacing them with a lot of new players. And whether you like it or not, I can understand it. It's not college football that we grew up with, but this is the college football world we live in now. And unless they make significant changes to the transfer portal rules, which I don't see, it's not happening. Like it's not going away. Like they might change, the timing of it. I think they need to figure that out because it's absolutely destroying bowl season. But so I think they need to fix that. But the portal is not going away. NIL is not going away. And then you mentioned it when we were talking to Ian earlier at the beginning of this podcast, is the revenue sharing. Like that's going to be the big thing there, and that's something that this is where schools are able to pay players, and you've seen a lot of schools. Look at North Carolina hiring Bill Belichick and a former NFL GM. Like a lot of colleges have started to hire GMs. I don't think it'll be long before Liberty has a GM for its football team, because you're going to have basically a salary cap that your team institutes, and maybe conferences institute them going forward. And you're going to have that to manage. And then you're also going to have NIL on top of that. So, it's going to be an interesting process. And that's going to come as much as NIL and the transfer portal have changed college football. I think this revenue sharing will change it even more. You're also going to have rosters are going, like Liberty had 117 players on the team. It's going down to 105. So you've got to reduce by 12 just to get, and that's not, that's just on the team, whether it's walk-ons or not. Not everybody's going to have 105 scholarship players. Liberty's not going to have 105 scholarship players, but you're going to have to tell some of your walk-ons, hey, I'm sorry, I just don't have a spot for you anymore.
Yeah, you said it ain't the college football that we grew up with, and we could debate for hours about whether that's right or wrong, but it is the world that we live in, and it is what it is. And I kind of like it. Enjoy the chaos of it all. And it's
well, one thing that I do like about it, Richie, is like, we were chatting about it earlier in the day, is like when you get these commitments and these, signings and things from portal kids, it's a lot different than the high school kids that commit to you when they're juniors going into their senior year in the summer. Like, those kids can't sign for 6 months. They won't play. 95% or 99% of them at our level probably aren't going to even play for your team for at least 18 months, if not 2 or 3 years. So it's kind of weird to go through that. But these portal kids, like you're talking about guys that are going to be on your first team here in like 6-7 months, really 2 months when spring ball starts. So, these are instant impact guys that are going to make up the bulk of your roster. And it's fun, but it is chaos. Like you said, it's definitely chaos.
Yeah. We're trying to find that next Quentin Cooley that can come in and right away have that
we're trying to find the next Quentin Cooley. We're trying to find the next Malik Willis. We're trying to find, all those next. I mean, the quarterback room is going to look different next year. Obviously, the running back room is going to look different. Offensive line is going to be different. And, this is the world we live in. And, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. But, John, any final words before we close it out for the night?
No, man, I appreciate everything you've done. Richie, it's been a fun season chatting with you. I know we'll be back after the bowl game at some point in time to break it down and do a little bit more of a recap of the season. But it's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next few days, the next few weeks. I mean, it's nonstop. College football is a year-round sport now. Yep. I mean, December is probably the height of the news. I mean, you have a season ending, then you have the signing day, the portal, and then you've got your bowl game. So, it's never ending. So by the time we get to January 4th, I'm sure we'll have a quarterback, hopefully in tow through the portal, and probably another running back, and hopefully another receiver or so. And we also need to get a couple corners, I think, too. But it's a lot of fun.
It is. And shout out to the players that are staying, that want to stay on the mountain, stay with this coaching staff, stay with this program, and continue the success that we've had over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I wanted to say when we were talking about the bowl game. Is one thought I had is, like, it'll be interesting. Like, the guys that are going to be on the team and playing in that bowl game, they want to be here, right? Yeah. So I mean, it could be easy to sit here and say, oh, I think Liberty's favored by 2 points. At least it opened that way. I'm not sure if the line's moved, but honestly, I would lean towards Buffalo. But you never know. Like, I mean, these guys could rally around each other and come out and play the best game that they've had all season and pull off a win. I mean, I think the talent's still there. It's just they haven't done it yet. So, like I said, it's a lot of storylines going into this game. And in my mind, we're the underdog. I would expect Buffalo to win, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, never know until we play the game. But as John mentioned, we're so grateful, John, to chat with you, develop not just a relationship where we talk for an hour on Tuesday night, but developed into a great friendship. So many awesome people involved that work for Liberty Athletics, that root for Liberty Athletics, and we're lucky to get this opportunity to be a part of all of that. So we'll see you when we see you. Enjoy the ball game. Enjoy the Christmas festivities. Enjoy whatever you have going on.
Let's get back in the win column. We've lost 2 straight bowl games. We started with 3 straight wins. Yeah. Let's get back in the win column.
I agree. That was the thought was in the back of my mind. So positive vibes. Go Flames. We'll see you when we see you. Stay hydrated. Stay blessed. Stay fly. Go Flames.